Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady, and in this video I'm going to give a preview of the Táilteann Cup preliminary quarterfinals of 2023. I'm just going to run through all four of the games that are happening this weekend from the Táilteann Cup and give my prediction as to who I think is going to win. But what do you think? Put it in the comments below on what games you disagree with me on, if you do, or if you agree with me. Let me know as well if you rate my predictions. But yeah, let's get right into it. So the first game that we're going to look at is taking place in O'Connor Park, Offaly versus Wexford. Now, immediately, we have to go through some of the games here. Offaly haven't actually been that impressive at all, in my opinion, in their group stage. They should have been beaten by Laois. They were impressive against London in the way that they dismantled, a side that have been tricky for a lot of teams, and they were 7 points to nil up at one stage. But they should have lost to Laois, and they were beaten hands down by Cavan, like in the last game of the group. So it's not very impressive at all. Whereas Wexford, on the other hand, have actually had some impressive results. Going away to Fermanagh, getting that draw. Yes, they were beaten by Antrim, but then beating Leitrim at home as well. Like, they have been pretty good, Wexford. So it's actually a lot harder to call than I would have said at the start of the year. And obviously, remember, Wexford beat Offaly last year in the Leinster Championship, so they do have it in them to beat them. That being said, I still am going to go with Offaly to win. I think Offaly just have a bit more firepower up front. The likes of Keane Farrell in particular is a player that I'm really, really impressed by. And I feel like with him leading the line, Offaly have other fantastic players there. The likes of Peter Cunningham from centre back is another one that hugely impresses me. And I just feel Offaly just have a little bit too much. Wexford, the likes of Mark Rossiter, players like that, hugely impressed with them. But I have been really impressed with their performances. And I think that there is something building there. But I think Offaly are one of the better teams in this Táilteann Cup in general. And look, they cannot be happy with their performance against Cavan. So they are going to need to fight back. And I am going to go with them to get over the line in this game. So Offaly to take that one for me. Next one up, we have a debutant, New York, who travel to Netwatch Cullen Park to face off against Carlow. And a Carlow side that have been absolutely flying. I mean, you think about their game against Wicklow, they looked like they were down and out. They managed to fight back. They were 5 points down heading towards, I believe it was mid-50s minutes of the game that was gone. And they managed to pull it back and get the victory. Fantastic performance by Carlow there in the dying moments when it looked like the game was beyond them. And it's the second year in a row that they really have perked up for the Táilteann Cup. Like last year, they beat Tipperary when nobody saw that coming. This year, they beat Wicklow when nobody saw that coming. And have looked really, really good. And obviously, getting the victory against Longford, really, really impressive. And yeah, just fantastic from Carlow. They really, really turned it around. They're on super form. And I think they are going to beat New York. Don't get me wrong, New York can be tricky. We saw them beat Leitrim, obviously, over in Gaelic Park, over in New York. But Sligo really put them to the sword when they came over to face them. So I think the form that Carlow are in, I think there's no way that they lose this game. I am going to go for Carlow to win it. Next one up, again, I think pretty straightforward. Laois have taken quite a fall. Fermanagh are their opponents in Brewster Park, and I only can see Fermanagh winning this game. Laois, just the way that they managed to throw that game away twice now. They've thrown games away. The Cavan game, they were good at the start, completely fell off in the second half. London, they were so far in the clear against London, and they still somehow managed to need a late Niall Corbett point to save themselves from a humiliating defeat. And then the same thing with Offaly. They were cruising in the clear, 6 points up, cruising. Offaly pulled them back. So I don't think there's any way in hell that they can compete with this Fermanagh team. I think Fermanagh are going to beat them quite comfortably. Because Fermanagh, even though they lost to Antrim, they put in impressive performances against Wexford and throughout the National League. So impressive performances against Leitrim, and they have put in impressive performances in the Allianz League, getting promoted to Division 2. So I am going to go with Fermanagh to win this game. I think there's no other potential result here. A side that got promoted out of Division 3 versus a side that failed to get promoted from Division 4. I know who I'm backing here. And the final quarter-final then, what we're looking at, again, should be pretty straightforward for Down, in my opinion, in this game. They have Longford at home with Park Esler in Newry. A Longford side that had such a weird year. Like, relegation from Division 3 was a disaster, a division that Longford have been trying to get out of for years now. And then just against Wicklow, they just turned it on. All of a sudden, they were moving the ball so well. Their forwards were clicking. Everything was working. But then in the last game against Carlow, they just completely undid all their work, losing that one. So this game against Down is the hardest draw that they could have possibly got, in my opinion. It really, really is a tough one that they've got. A downside that are, flourishing with the likes of Oran Murdoch, Eugene Brannigan, Daniel Guinness, all these lads coming into the team, playing fantastic football. For me, there's only one result here. Down are going to take this one. Even with the form of the likes of Oran Kenny, Desi Reynolds, for me, Down are taking this one. So, yeah, that is my predictions. I'm going Offaly to beat Wexford, going Carlow to beat New York, Fermanagh to beat Laois, and Down to beat Longford. A clean sweep for all of the home teams on the weekend. What do you think? Do you think any upsets can happen over the weekend? Let me know in the comments below. And until the next one, guys,